You wake up, check your phone, scroll through the news, and go about your day. You feel in control. But what if your choices, your opinions, even your emotions, are not as independent as you think? Every day, psychological warfare is waged against you. Governments use fear to push policies you wouldn't normally accept. Advertisers use neuroscience to make you want things you don't need. Social media uses behavioral engineering to keep you hooked and distracted. The best kind of control is the one you don't notice. This chapter will expose the core principles of psychological warfare. How your brain is hacked by fear, propaganda, and subliminal influence. Why most people never realize they are being manipulated. How to defend yourself against these tactics. Because in the end, those who control your emotions, control you. The science of mind manipulation, how your brain is hacked. The power of fear, why anxiety makes you obedient. Fear is the most powerful tool of psychological warfare. It shuts down logical thinking and makes people reactive. It creates dependency on those who claim to offer safety. It justifies extreme actions that would otherwise be rejected. A population in fear is a population that does not question. Example, the shock doctrine. Governments exploit crises to pass laws that expand control. Fearful societies accept mass surveillance, censorship, and loss of rights. Once fear fades, a new crisis replaces it. The result? A perpetual state of controlled panic. If you're scared, you're easier to control. Propaganda, how repetition becomes reality. The human brain is wired to believe things it hears often enough. This is why propaganda doesn't need to be true, it just needs to be repeated. A lie repeated often enough becomes the truth. Joseph Goebbels. How propaganda works, repetition, the more you hear something, the more true it feels. Emotional framing, words are loaded with meaning to trigger reactions. Simplification, complex issues are reduced to black and white narratives. Example, the enemy creation tactic. Governments and media use enemies to unite people through fear. Wars, pandemics, economic crises, each has a villain you're told to fear. Questioning these narratives makes you the enemy. The more emotional you are, the less you think critically. The psychology of authority, why we obey without questioning. People are wired to trust authority figures, even when they are wrong. Most people prefer to obey than to think for themselves. Why we obey authority. Conditioning, from childhood, we're taught that disobedience equals punishment. Social proof, if others comply, we assume it's the right thing to do. Fear of consequences, standing alone against authority is psychologically painful. Example, the Milgram experiment, 1961. Participants were instructed to administer electric shocks to a person. 65% obeyed completely, even when they believed they were causing pain. Conclusion, people will obey authority, even when it conflicts with their morality. This is why most people follow the system without questioning it. The hidden manipulation in everyday life. Social engineering, how your behavior is designed for you. Social norms are not random, they are engineered. Advertising teaches you what to desire. Media teaches you what to fear. Schools teach you what to believe. People don't realize they are in a cage, because they were born inside it. How social engineering works, language control, words are redefined to shape thought. Normalization of trends, what is acceptable today was radical yesterday. Self-policing, people enforce the system on each other. Example, the trend injection strategy. A new behavior or belief is introduced subtly in media. Celebrities, influencers, and news outlets reinforce it. Within months, it becomes normal even if it was once unthinkable. By controlling social trends, those in power control how you behave. Subliminal influence, the messages you don't notice. Your subconscious mind absorbs far more than you realize. The strongest influence is the one you are not aware of. How subliminal manipulation works. Framing, the way information is presented changes how you perceive it. Priming, a word or image subtly influences your future choices. Anchoring, your brain uses the first piece of information as a reference point. Example, the anchoring effect. A news article states, experts predict economic collapse. Your mind now expects collapse, even if no evidence exists. Future reports confirming this feel more true. Your subconscious is trained to see the world in a specific way. How to defend yourself against psychological warfare. Recognize the tactics being used against you. Ask, what emotion is this information triggering in me? Notice, is this idea being repeated frequently across different platforms? Question, who benefits if I believe this? The first step to breaking free is realizing you're being controlled. Limit emotional reactivity, think before you feel. Pause before reacting to emotionally charged news. Check the facts before forming strong opinions. Learn to separate emotions from objective analysis. If they can control your emotions, they control you. Reclaim your mind, think independently. Expose yourself to diverse perspectives, even uncomfortable ones. Develop critical thinking skills, question narratives, even popular ones. Prioritize truth over comfort, because truth is rarely comfortable. A free mind is one that dares to question everything. Conclusion, the battle for your mind is constant. So, now you see. Fear, propaganda, and authority shape the way you think. Your subconscious mind is targeted daily without you realizing it. Those in power rely on your obedience, because questioning is dangerous. The real question is, now that you know, what will you do? Freedom is not just about seeing the cage, it's about escaping it. Your journey continues. Like, share, and subscribe to uncover more.